Welcome back to another Code Cloud and DevOps Ask Me Anything video. In the video today, I got a question that I think is important for anyone to actually ask, and I couldn't imagine how I couldn't have thought of making a video like this previously, and thanks very much for asking the question to the viewer. And the question goes thus: what does a DevOps portfolio look like? Can I have a write-up on my project with screenshot and make it part of my portfolio? Kindly explain more. That's the question, simple and straightforward. Now, it's an important question to ask, and I want to thank the viewer for actually asking this question. Now, why it's important to have a DevOps portfolio is simple. A portfolio, for that matter, whatever field you're in, is because it showcases the things you can do. Now, in the world of DevOps, in the world of cloud, it's a little bit tricky or dicey depending on the kind of project you've worked on. If it's a learning project, it's simpler. Just do a write-up, put screenshots. If there's you are not breaching any NDAs, you can put it out there. And of course, if some of those projects you've worked on are under NDA, you might ask for permission of the people who contracted you for the project to share some details about it, and they will define the scope of what you can share and not, if they so agree to. But if they do not agree for you to share the scope of that work, you cannot do it. I've been in projects where I can't share the details. It's just unethical even to think of sharing such information. So there are some projects you work on you cannot put in your portfolio. That is the kind of world we live in, and it's just the way it is. It's not like it's not fair. It's just that some businesses, some projects you work on are intellectual property of this company, and they just don't want details of how it's implemented to be out there yet. But most of the companies we have in the world today, the details of the implementation, the flow, the architecture is pretty simple. Well, I wouldn't exactly say pretty simple, but they are built upon concepts. So for a beginner, for example, if you're starting up your DevOps portfolio and you're learning, say, how to deploy a web application with a database, with a firewall to the cloud, what you want to do is, as you're starting a project, if it's a personal one, that's even pretty sweet. Document it. You can put screenshots. Have a GitHub page. You don't have to go build a website, to be honest. You can have your GitHub page, make it public, and then boom, off you go, and put the details in there. Narrate what you've done, the overview of the project, how you contributed to the project if you're not the only one working on it, the benefits of the project, and your learning experience from the project. It's just as simple as that. For someone like me, my portfolio and my videos are, my testimonials, because I really don't have to do so much of a write-up on the things because my work speaks for itself in a kind of way, And of course, I have a solid CV. You can put links and stuff like that in your CV. But then I think more importantly, for someone who is just starting out, that will be the way to go. And your question is pretty straightforward. You actually sort of answer the question in the question. So screenshots, if allowed, like the architecture diagram, the flow charts, the implementation details. But of course, you probably cannot share the details of the code, secrets. And one thing, if you ever consider sharing, the implementation code, like the Terraform code, Azure Bicep code, whatever infrastructure as code tool you use, you need to think about cleaning up before you make that repository public. Clean up secrets, clean up API keys, clean up all sorts like that, especially if it's a personal project. If it's a corporate project, you most likely would not be allowed to share the repository. But of course, you can put the little bit of details and overview of what you've done. Because of course, if you're writing your CV on things you've done, you will put some details in there. So that's one liner, that one paragraph about things you've done that you can't share full details about. You can still, abstract details out of it, but still letting it know. For example, if you're working on something, for example, for the Ministry of Defense, you probably cannot share the full details of what it is because it's supposed to be classified. But then you can say you were on the team that did X, Y, Z, and then you were responsible for doing ABC. Full stop. You don't have to mention the client. You don't have to mention the core details of it. But of course, you have to think about it that if you were the employer that contracted someone to do this, would you want that information out? I think that's one of the first things about this IT world we're in. Ethicality, ethics. Do you want that information out? If you are the employer, if you don't mind, then you can ask for permission to share such information. And I think that's about what I wanted to wrap up in this video about the question. And of course, really highlight your contribution. I think what matters most in whatever projects that you put on your portfolio is the contribution you made, what you were able to achieve, because you are in a portfolio, you are selling yourself essentially. So you want to put those details of things you were able to achieve as a member of the team. And if it's a solo project, what you were able to do and how you did it. And of course, you need to also put in lessons you've learned in the process of implementing such a project. And I hope that answered your question. And if you need, of course, further questions, you know how to get me. Use the link showing right now upon your screen, or scan the QR code showing right about now. Until I come your way again yet with another video, stay safe and goodbye.